So as you can see by the title, I might be running a marathon of some sorts in a week. So let me explain this whole thought process to you and why I say I might be running one. So ever since I decided that returning to Houston in January for the half marathon was not in the cards for me, I've continued to train, and training's been going pretty well. And I've been trying to figure out a way to end my fall season on something fun. You know, it's just kind of anticlimactic to end on an easy run and say, well, I'm taking my time off now. So I really want to do something fun and challenging and developmental for the future. So I've been thinking of different ways I can go about this. I would absolutely love to be able to end my fall season on a cross-country race, but at this time of the year in this part of the world, the only cross-country races going on right now are basically college cross-country races and high school races, but of course I can't race in high school races. And the college races going on right now are conference, regional, and national meets that unattached people cannot run at. So running cross-country is not in the question for me right now. So sometime a few weeks ago, this thought came to mind about seeing how long can I sustain 6-minute pace. So then I got to thinking about that a little more, and I really think I can sustain 6-minute pace for a marathon right now, even if I was just doing it on my own, not in a real race. And then maybe I could go over a marathon, but running over a marathon doesn't really sound appealing to me in the slightest, so I decided I would cap this at a marathon if I were to make it that far. I actually looked around online to see if there were any somewhat local marathons that I could just jump in and do for experience and get an actual marathon atmosphere, but there's nothing really within my area that would be easy to travel to with my coaching schedule and everything, so that's not really in the cards either. So I've decided to just do this on my own out on the dirt roads in southeast Kansas. The intent with this isn't to see how fast I can run a marathon, but it's just to gain some experience with the distance. I don't want to do all the distance at an easy pace though, which is where the 6-minute pace challenge comes into play. So here's the challenge. I want to run as close to 6-minute pace as possible for almost the entire marathon, and if I ever go 30 seconds above the cumulative time that is required for a perfect 6-minute average, then that's where I'm cutting the marathon or short of a marathon. I like the idea of that because it just allows me a lot of leeway early in the challenge to mess up. So for example, for me to fail the challenge, I would need to be above 6:30 for the first mile. For the second mile, I'd need to be above 12:30 for a cumulative time. Third mile, I'd need to be above 18:30, and so on. So I can really dial in after the first mile and make sure I'm staying far away from that 30-second above the pace that I need to be. So I don't think I'll have any problem with that. And then late in the challenge, if I fall off that bad, it's just because I'm fatigued and I can't run that anymore. So that's kind of how I plan on doing it. So now let me go back to the intent of this marathon challenge and explain why I'm doing this. First, it just sounds like a fun and challenging thing to do to end my season on, but the more functional reason is that I need to gain experience with the marathon distance. If I want to qualify for the Olympic trials sometime in the next few years, then I really need to start gaining some experience in the marathon, and I figured now is just as good a time as any. The furthest that I've ever run is 24 miles, but that was in the mountains at 10,000 feet. And so I was actually on my feet running for over 2 hours and 50 minutes. That's well over what I think I'll be doing for a marathon. But you know, the pace was fluctuating so much, and most of it was like an easy effort. Unless I'm running up a mountain, then it was going to be hard no matter what. But my pace throughout that run fluctuated from 9-minute pace running up the mountain to 5:30 running down the mountain. So I think having a more even effort for the actual marathon distance, hopefully 26.2 miles, will be a much better experience. I think this is also a great opportunity to practice fueling or drinking on the run, because that's something I've never really done. Anytime I'm out on a run, even that 24 miler that I was just talking about, I don't eat or drink anything, and that's just the way I've always done it. But I think to reach my potential in the marathon, I need to be able to fuel during it, so that is something I need to figure out. So I'm not going to get too fancy with it, because this will be my first time ever doing something like this. Initially, my plan was to just do a 4-mile square at the dirt roads and set up a table with cups of watered down Gatorade and just take a cup every lap. but I'm actually going to have a support crew of guys out helping me. So I think I'm going to make one big loop, and they'll just be able to set up the drinks for me every 4 miles or so. So that's my plan with that. So here's how I want to attack the actual pacing of the marathon event. Like I said, I want to stick to 6-minute pace for as long as I possibly can. And I just picked 6-minute pace just because it's a nice round number, and it's something that I think I can handle pretty well for a marathon. But then I want it to be a little more challenging. Like, I don't want to get to the 26.2 miles at 6-minute pace and just being like, well, that was pretty cool. Didn't challenge myself too much. So I want a little more challenge than that. Like, you know, if I were doing the thing where I could run 6-minute pace as long as I possibly can, that's a guaranteed run till failure and work pretty dang hard at the end. So the way that I see this going, or what I want to do, is maintain 6-minute pace through 20 miles and then see how I'm feeling then, and hopefully be able to pick it up for the last 10K. How much I will be able to pick it up is really a big unknown to me, and maybe I won't even be able to pick it up. Maybe I won't even make it to a marathon. That's one of the reasons why I'm doing this thing, is just to figure out my current fitness level at the marathon distance and see how it goes. Probably the most unlikely way that I see this going is that I feel absolutely phenomenal at 6-minute pace at 14, 15, 16 miles, and I pick it up even earlier, but I doubt that will be the case. So as far as preparation goes for this marathon challenge, I definitely haven't been specifically preparing for a marathon, but the type of training that I've been doing definitely hasn't left me completely unprepared for this either. So let me explain the training that I've been doing over the past several weeks. My total volume has been decent in the past 15 weeks. In the past 15 weeks, my average weekly mileage has been 84 to 85 miles per week, and that was with a little sickness in the middle, with low weeks because of that, and some scheduled down weeks because of a race and whatnot, and just to rest a little bit. But most of those weeks have been hovering around 90 to 95 miles per week, especially lately. And the week that I finished up last week, I actually hit a peak of 106 miles. So my total volume isn't what I would really want it to be for actual marathon training, but it's been decent. So then the most specific type of training that you can do for a marathon are different long run workouts, and I would say I've touched on this a little bit, but the total duration of my runs hasn't been quite up there with actual marathon training, just like my total volume. But like I said before, it's not leaving me unprepared for the marathon either. In the past several weeks, I've done 5 18-milers and some other 16 to 17-milers as well. And a lot of those have been pretty moderate, or at least for the second half moderate. So like one of those 18-milers, I averaged 5:48 for the last 9 miles. And one that I did just a week ago, I actually did 18 miles, almost all of it moderate. And I averaged 6:02 pace for 18 miles. So I've had some pretty solid long runs, but nothing too crazy, nothing north of 18 miles. So for the rest of my training, most of it's just been easy running, and then my other workouts have been lactate threshold workouts, VO2 max workouts, a little bit of speed, just a hodgepodge of different workouts. So I'm really excited to see what my current fitness brings for this marathon challenge. So the plan is to attempt this marathon challenge next Sunday morning on November 10th. And I should be able to make a video out of it as well, because like I said earlier, there are going to be some guys out there supporting me, and they should be able to get some footage for me, so that should make for a cool video. After this challenge next Sunday, I do plan to take at least a week completely off, and maybe even 2 depending on how I feel, just to completely absorb the body of work that I've put in over the past several months, and I'll be really excited to start another training cycle after that. And just one more thing before I sign off, I do have Church of the Sunday Long Run hoodies and long sleeves coming soon, so stay tuned for those details, and hopefully I'll have them available for order within the next couple weeks or so. So that is all I have for you. I will see you in the next video.